Restoration is brought to you by
Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Yes, extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
We got gas protection.
Adonko hand sanitizer. Sure odo. Never home by.
Thank you, mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor.
Hello and welcome to Restoration with Stacey. We're brought to you by Kind Courtesy Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people. Yas washing powder and Yas sanitary pad, hooch corn and chocolate flakes, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, Adonko original hand sanitizer, and Adonko Next Level. We're proudly supported by my glam team, ABS Lux Line, located on the Odoko Highway for my beautiful outfit, the Gele Center for my beautiful Otto Gele, and Ella, I really love this royal blue. It's so beautiful. So if you want Ella to prepare you an Otto Gele for any occasion, make sure you get in touch with her. Very big thank you to Divine Cassie for my makeup, to Glowing Makeup Artistry. Yes, Gloria and your team, thank you very much for always ensuring that my guests are looking dapper. A very big thank you to the Souza Catering Services and Plan Media Production and Brian Phil Photography.
Remember the days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month? Yas extra long sanitary pad took the worry away. Easy.
Yes, comfort. I got yes, confidence. I got yes.
The new Yas extra long sanitary pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi, is it supposed to be that time of the month? Yes.
I got yes, confidence. I got
Yes.
we got yes, protection. I got
Yas extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
we got yes, protection.
Hello, your friend Jackie. So we will be our winning who are jet to Semia and Pimpino. You to me 5 gems if in Kitadia, you need your Brucia, your fans, any and down for any. Nanso, who bet to me about home by use Adonko hand sanitizer, debia, any brebia. Every say you to me 5 gems if in Yaman is so. Adonko hand sanitizer, bet to me about home by debia, free gems, bacteria, you need in home. Adonko hand sanitizer, sure or dog. Never home by
FD Ashwisha said Jedi and Kratoimu Ajia Tumse.
Delicious jollof in just 45 minutes and with no chopping, no blending, no cutting. Let me show you how. Pour oil in a pan. Add 1 210 grams pack of Tasty Tom jollof mix and fry 10 minutes on medium heat. Add 1 liter of water or stock water, season and salt and bring to a boil. Add 800.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up. and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
Every child is so unique.
You like no other.
Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play,
you like no other.
You are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. It's you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie.
Thank you, Mommy. Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Kojo, wait. Where are you getting all these items from in this economy? Kojo, are you stealing her papa?
It's not like that. There is a guaranteed gift in every bag of Royal Aroma or precious rice you buy.
Oh yes, the good news is true. This one, it not be try your luck. Get to the nearest market and pick up any of the amazing Royal Aroma range of products or precious rice. You go win something instantly. Run away, dear. Royal Aroma say, oh yeah, ready be.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, you people, you are not hungry, eh?
Oh, we are, Oma. We'll be there soon.
Go. Oh, why are you so unfair? Oh.
Babe, please calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. Why you? Have you seen this red light? Oh, this red light is wicked. Oh, you are telling me to calm down.
Don't let hunger slow your vim. Chock it with the great tasting Royal King Cracker, made with butter and fortified wheat flour to keep you going with your burger level intact. Royal King Cracker, chock your hunger.
This advert is FDA approved.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
Restoration. The call of God is one thing most people find very difficult to pay heed to. But when you really do pay heed to that call, He's sure to order your steps and direct your ways and your thoughts. My guest today is one man who has paid heed to the word of God and his calling and is making waves across the globe. My guest is founder of Glory Center International, and I am really happy to introduce him to you. I've been chasing him for this interview for 2 years, and finally I get to speak to Rev Dr. Raymond Abban. Man of God, how are you doing?
I'm blessed.
Finally, we get to do this interview.
We thank God for that.
How have you been?
It's been very well, by God's grace.
We thank God. And I said something in my intro about paying heed to the call of God. You were in the UK and you had that call and you paid heed to it. I'm sure even before you decided to get very active, the call had come, and as I know you, you might have taken your time to do it and do it well. When did you first get this call?
It wasn't in the UK, it was right here in Ghana.
In Ghana?
At the Saddle College.
You're joking? At this school?
Yes, at this school. That's where it, well, it began in Cape Coast, but it got more serious at the Saddle College, and then after that, Legon, and then to UK.
Were you a member of Scripture Union?
Somewhat. More Harvest than Scripture Union.
More Harvest than Scripture Union.
Yes.
So knowing God, was it from home or it was something that you picked from school? Because I believe senior high school is where most people actually find themselves and connect to God very well.
Mine was in junior high school. My science teacher.
Wow.
I used to, how do you put it? Speak my mind a lot, even in class. And one day he sat me down and said, you know, God could use somebody like you. So, long story short, that's where I got to get the whole concept of God from. And then...
From speaking your mind?
A little bit too much.
Or chose Moses had to catch and say, wait, then
I've come from a place where I always said what I thought I could say. But Mr. Ansah found a way to communicate that right to me, and then by then introduced the concept of God and God to me. So I became born again just before I went to GSS 3 and then onto a disco.
So you were just, let's say, about 2 to 3 years old in Christ when you went to a disco?
About that, yes.
And a disco is a boys' school.
It is.
A disco is a place where you are capable of learning the
everything,
good, the bad, and the ugly.
People tend to say a lot of that about a disco, but you would realize that it also produced some very fantastic pastors.
Amazing and fantastic. Oh, okay.
A lot, actually. Rev Dr. Rev Victor Say, just to mention a few. A lot.
So how was it like for you in a disco? Because you are a church boy in senior high school and you're trying to be principled. You're trying to work the will of Christ, and you have your friends who will do otherwise.
I didn't have too many friends. I've never had many friends.
Even from senior high school? So yours was Mako School, maybe.
I was in school, Harvest was there. I got most of the basics from there, but also in the second year I wrote the SSC private, passed it.
Passed into any classmates?
Maybe that.
Wow, great. So
I did still write my year, but I had already passed it.
You had already passed it. So at what time did the UK come in?
Around 2004-ish. I was in Legon when I went to London.
Okay. And when you went to London, was the church in Kobe?
I had already done
the reasons.
I had already done Bible school here a little. I had already started working with the Victory Bible Church in Cape Coast. Then I came to Accra to school in Legon. Then went to London while I was still a student to preach, come back, and then finally settled there to start the church there.
So how difficult was it starting a church in London?
It's just as doing it anywhere. The difference in London to Ghana is that the demographics are different, the people respond to things differently. But for me, at the beginning, God was very gracious to me because I'd been going back and forth London, Accra for a while. I had enough base to take off.
Gather the following.
Exactly. So we took off very well. Our first location was in Camberwell at the Esbridale Center, and our first meeting went on very well. And then from there, God kept helping us day after day after day.
I know to pastor a church is like any artist getting on stage, especially in a territory where you know that they come, but when I'm establishing, how sure are you that the people who come when you visit would actually come for a full service? Were you scared in any way?
I wouldn't say it like an artist getting on stage, because an artist getting on stage is going to perform. He's looking for applause, he's looking for the people shouting, and then everybody goes home. A pastor getting on stage isn't performance, it's ministry. Because you're trying to meet the needs of people as God will give you grace to. Most of us have become concerned about the business of ministry as opposed to the ministry of ministry. Yes, people will have to come, it's necessary. But the Bible says in the days of his power, his people shall be willing. As long as the grass is green, the sheep will come to feed. So it's always an issue of, is the grass green enough? Are you feeding your people well enough? Is what you're doing ministry, or is just another showbiz? I usually do not worry about the showbiz aspect of ministry. I've always been concerned about if the grass is green enough.
What were some of your challenges?
I remember something very funny at the beginning where, in London, when you begin, you don't own the place. So you rent it for a couple of hours. I remember one particular service, and what we would say in Ghana here, the spirit has taken over. So we're dragging it out, and then
You're not done, but it's funny.
Yeah, the caretaker, white guy, bearded, stands at the back there and does this. And then I ignore him because now I don't understand the terrain very well. The time is up, about 5 minutes past. He comes to clock me down again. I'm still ignoring him and ministering, and the whole place is electrifying. By the time I checked, he turns off the power. And then he shouts while everybody's in the service, "Your time is up, I gotta go."
You're joking.
So
we're doing spirits.
Oh, we're doing the crowd. He turns it off and he shouts to all of us, "Your time is up, I gotta go." So now, some of the people are trying to tell him to give us an extra time. And he says, "No, we don't do that here. Your time is up, you gotta go."
2 hours, 2 hours.
Exactly. It's one of the things that taught me to be disciplined with time.
Yeah.
It taught me to respect time. And also, you will have a congregation a little different from what we have here in Ghana, because you have people who work different schedules. So somebody has to be at work at 9 p.m. So if they manage to come to church at 7 o'clock, and at the night they have to be at work, you're still saying the spirit has taken over. Because they still need to go. So you will have the difference in the people, not because they don't love God, as some of us put it across, but the situations are different, the people are different, the country is different, the circumstances that put people there, it's not the same. So those are the few things that take me a little time to learn, but after that it was good.
So after that service, your next service, what happened?
Oh, I closed on time.
There's no one will tell you.
No, I closed on time, actually 5 minutes before time.
Wow. Wow, that's discipline of time.
It did. It also helped because when I got the opportunity to speak for certain white churches, you can't do what you do in the black churches. If they tell you
15 minutes, it's 15 minutes.
15 minutes, they actually mean 15 minutes. If they say 45 minutes, they don't mean 50 minutes, they mean 45. So you have to do everything, preach, prophesy, everything within the 45 minutes and sit down.
Not 46.
No. Wow.
So at what point did you feel you were established in the UK?
Established is a strong word. I haven't felt, I still don't feel it.
You still don't feel it?
I have a feeling God is still doing more. So this is me on every given day. My prayer is, God, make me better than yesterday. The only person I'm in competition with is myself. So I don't think I've woken up to say I'm established before. I'm yet to come to that point.
Work in progress.
I believe that every day God can do more. Every day God is willing to do more. The thing with God is that it's always an issue of capacity. If I increase my capacity, God will give me more. If I keep asking God for more, He will give me more. But for most people, we do not increase capacity and yet ask for more. We can't get more if we don't ask for more and don't grow capacity. So I am still believing God for more. So establishment is a word I will use in the future.
Okay. Now let's come to family. I'm sure within that time, in Ghana, it's normal. Like, also if we don't do baby, also we worry, also we'll settle. It's something we say a lot. Unlike the West, where people would settle when they feel it is time to settle, because some want to be established, some have targets, and until they've met those targets for their lives, they don't even want to think about settling, because for them it's a whole job. Were you ever pressured to settle because of the role you were playing?
A little, sometimes. At a point, yes. You will get it from some of the senior ministers telling you settle. You would find people trying to introduce you to someone. It's part of what comes with being single and being in ministry.
At what time did you decide to settle?
I got married, I think, in 2013. But I did marry in Ghana, not in London.
Mostly, it is said when men of God marry, it affects the church. Because some of the female members would expect that the pastor would marry from the church. So if you're not marrying from the church, so if mommy ba say na your mommy, but don't check your side. Was it the case for you?
No. No, it wasn't. Because I did pastor and do a lot of itinerary at the same time. So I was always on the move.
On the move.
So I didn't have the struggle other people do when it comes to that area.
You were on the move and you are still on the move.
A little less than I used to.
How were you able to be the husband at home and still be that minister obeying the call of God? How were you able to marry the two?
I didn't do a very good job at that. That's why I'm no longer married. Now, anybody who did or who does ministry as extensively as I did and takes them away from home as much as I do will always have a deficiency somewhere. It will take two fantastic managers to manage the home that well to avoid the deficiencies. Like I said earlier, I've had many successes in life. Marriage is not one of them. Because for most people, it will be easy to blame somebody for what goes wrong. I don't know how to do that. I always assume that I could have done better. This is why. A driver is known for the good car he drives. A contractor for the house or whatever he built. An architect for what he draws. A pastor for the way he lives and the people he impacts. So, when you fail at something that is family-oriented, it's something that stares at me. My prayer is if I have to do it again, this time I can get it right. That is if I have to do it again.
How difficult was it for you to make that decision? Because when you are a leader of the church and you are confronted with a situation that is beyond you, that would have to let you part ways with your wife. It can be difficult.
It's scary.
One, were you worried about the church?
You're worried about everything.
About everything. How did you process the whole thing?
I don't know if that's good enough for TV, but let's see. It's scary at the beginning. You deal with the basics of people saying God hates divorce and all of the above. True as that may be, they stand in isolation. You'd have to process it personally because this is the other part. A good marriage fosters growth in every area of your life. One that isn't, that's the opposite. So whether or not you're scared, whether or not you're concerned about the church, the children, all of the above, it also, for me, came to one decision. How would the life keep going on? Is this where it ends? Is this how I want it to be? As difficult as the choice is, and it still is today, it had to be made. Fortunately for me, I kind of thrive in making difficult decisions and dealing with the consequences after I've made them. So the blowback still happens every now and then, and I've succeeded at being private about it for a while. I still am well. I'm talking about it here today. So the cat is out of the bag eventually.
How long did it take you to make such a decision, such major decision?
It took a while. You contemplate it, you go back on it, you contemplate it, you go back on it. Eventually, you become bold enough to make it.
Without fear?
Nothing is done without fear. It doesn't matter how bold you are, you have your own fears. You may not communicate it, but this is the reality. People look at pastors and sometimes they see Superman. Yes, we do represent God, but we are human, so we have our fears. We have things that bother us. We have things we're concerned about. If I say it didn't bother me, I'm just talking for TV, but the honesty is that it does, but it did bother me.
Does it still bother you?
I see it as my biggest failure. Yes, it does bother me.
After the divorce, how were you able to pick yourself up? Because I'm sure the church, for one, would be a little surprised by
Good part is the church isn't surprised because prior to all of that, we hadn't started the church in Ghana.
Okay.
I started the church in Ghana during and after the divorce. So they basically just know me. So most people at the beginning didn't know where to place it. I kind of thrived on that for a while, but the truth is the church in Ghana didn't have to suffer from it.
So even in the UK, would you say you kept her out of the picture for a while? Because for it not to affect you that much, it means that she was playing the role of a mother more than a first lady of the church.
Yes.
Why so?
Because at the beginning she did live in Ghana and I lived there. So it was easy.
So it was easy. One thing do you still miss about family? Having everybody together in one space.
The kids don't have to ask where's mom. The kids don't have to ask that.
That's quite tough. I think I just have to move out of that. Yeah, I just have to move out of that space.
It is the first time I'm actually talking about it. I don't think I've ever spoken about it before.
Thank you for sharing. Because I believe it's going to help a lot of people deal with it. Because most of the times when our pastors go through situations, we sit and criticize without knowing what you're going through. We've seen a lot of pastors go through divorce, and we sit and ask.
Criticism is for ignorant Christians, unfortunately. We're very quick to criticize and judge people without having to walk a mile in their shoes. Not because I'm in the position, but I tell people that our place is to pray for them, not criticize them.
Not to criticize.
This is the issue with divorce. I may sound biased because it sounds like I'm putting a defense, but I'm not. The issue is God hates it. And God doesn't hate it because of marriage. God hates it because it's the breaking of covenant. Now, if you are a friend to a family, when they were a couple, and they divorce and you take sides with one, you just broke the covenant of friendship. You're just as guilty as them in the eyes of God. So the place of criticism doesn't work. It's a place where you pray that God should keep them. If it's possible to restore, fine. If it's not, God should keep them. Your job is not to take side or judge. You don't know better.
You don't. Is it possible that there could be a comeback? Is there that possibility?
I don't think so.
So coming to Ghana with a broken heart, broken home. Yeah, with a broken heart, broken home, to start a church in Ghana. Because I know men have this defensive attitude that I'm not broken-hearted. But the fact is, once you
men know how to cope.
Yes, once you loved someone, there is no way you would say that I wasn't broken-hearted.
If you work like I do, you get to hide in your work a little. So work takes away most of the...
Not
kataso. it becomes a coping mechanism. You at least have a fair idea of how I work. I'm always on the go. You can keep busy, but like you asked me the other day why my life is that lonely. When you fail at something, you don't want to fail again. So one of the things I detest the most is to fail. It's not something I enjoy in any and every area of life ministry. So, like I said, it's one of the things I see as failing. I don't intend to fail again.
And I have to give you this. I really have doubled my respect for you by saying we should blame you. You take full responsibility, and you are not here to play the blame card or anything.
That's not important.
I respect you for that. Thank you very much. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we continue our conversation with Rev Dr. Raymond Abban.
The days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month. Yas extra long sanitary pad took the worry away easy.
Yes, comfort, I got yes, confidence, I got yes.
The new Yas Extra Long Sanitary Pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi. Is it supposed to be that time of the month?
Yes. I got yes, confidence, I got
yes.
We got yes, protection, I got
Yas Extra Long Sanitary Pad for extra comfort.
We got yes, protection.
Delicious jollof in just 45 minutes, and with no chopping, no blending, no cutting. Let me show you how. Pour oil in a pan. Add 1 210 grams pack of Tasty Tom jollof mix and fry 10 minutes on medium heat. Add 1 liter of water or stock water, season and salt, and bring to a boil. Add 800.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
Every child is so unique.
You like no other.
Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play,
you like no other.
You are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook, I can paint. You like no other. Indomie, you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Kojo, wait. Where are you getting all these items from in this economy? Kojo, are you stealing her papa?
It's not like that. There is a guaranteed gift in every bag of royal aroma or precious rice you buy.
Oh yes, the good news is true. This one, it no be try your luck. Get to the nearest market and pick up any of the amazing Royal Aroma range of products or precious rice. You go win something instantly. Run away, dear. Royal Aroma say, oh yeah, ready be.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, you people, you are not hungry, eh?
Oh, we are, Oma. We'll be there soon.
Go. Oh, why are you so unfair? Oh.
Babe, please calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. But you. Have you seen this red light? Oh, this red light is wicked. Oh, you are telling me to calm down.
Don't let hunger slow your vim. Chock it with the great tasting Royal King Cracker, made with butter and fortified wheat flour to keep you going with your bugger level intact. Royal King Cracker, take chock your hunger.
This advert is FDA approved.
It's our high 10 super crazy giveaway moment, and my final student of Rojiwan Hair Studio. Sweetheart, what's your name?
Esther.
Esther. Hey, maybe just me with confidence. This is Esther. Esther episode here na we share na e kan wa kuma na ye wo fe pa.
Mpacho te makunkum.
Hey, Auntie Cynthia. Wow. Then I would say one story no when share won crying.
Mpacho dey me te one story no when share me crying na waresem. Obeware ya na danfo e betray na ji ni kunu. E fi ni nsem ni kunu ja ne mba. E ma no so onkita for them, but still oguso e born a home day kita for Nkrano with a single mother in easy, but still with the determination so be hwe Nkrano mo madu baby papa nti oda ho hwe Nkrano ono na me ditu me home for say in case say me wa wimpo na se be ma no eja me ho na oja Nkrano bo me so a me nka say nti me so me ja Nkrano mo maye me o manye, but say me as a single mother me to me ho si wo na me hwe Nkrano mo nyini be ye mpanyi pa wo society ni ona
Esther Bonse ma ho. Hey, Roger there. What motivational speakers for sweetheart. Into high sense and for way Emroni and that was. Then I'll catch your high sense.
High sense, Madam Mastepa, ne, Makoma Pani de Bia, Machedia, Modeche, Uncle for Monyo my papa, but we still we giveaway. The American say high sense everyday prizes for everyday people. Thank you.
And nature say everyday prizes for everyday people. Until say, oh, I could talk home appliance. It's true. High sense. 5 years warranty. Oh, the toss I wouldn't know who that na ace in it, your friend. Oh, please. Oh, chile. What's so ace now? Just why because they be a winter. It's not a high sense air conditioners and a mouth that feeling. Well, this is the end of this week's High Sense Super Crazy giveaway moment. Next week will come your way with another winner.
Restoration.
Welcome back. This is our winner for this week's High Sense Super Crazy giveaway moment. And I know very soon Rev is going to pick a card. Then we know what he's taking home. But excuse me being inquisitive, Rev, because this is the first time we are actually having a man of God who's gone through divorce, opening up and talking about it. And I respect the fact that you take the blame and everything. So now I'm curious. I just want to know.
Stace, I'm not taking the blame to look good because it may look like that.
No, I'm
it takes
just
two to
respecting
tango.
the fact because ideally your other half or your ex-wife isn't here, and I respect that. Any man or most men would run that person under the bus, but you have not done that. That is why I said I really respect you for that.
It takes two people to tango. So every party has a role to play in it.
A role to play.
It would be, I hear people push blames all across board as though they didn't contribute anything. It's not possible. Everybody contributed something to it.
Before you got married, you were always on the road. When you got married, did you try to adjust to be there more?
Try being the operative word. Tried. Succeeding is another story. But try being the operative word. It's easy to get carried away, especially when it's becoming successful and you're getting all the praises that comes along with it. Being on the road is an interesting version of ministry. Details I don't know how to say on TV, but being on the road is very different from sitting at one place. So it gets to a point where sometimes it takes a toll on the home. For most of our senior ministers who still are on the road, like I said, it takes 2 fantastic managers to make that work. If the managers are not able to manage it well, it will not work.
Were you ready for marriage?
Then my answer would have been yes. On the hindsight today, maybe I should be saying no.
Getting a woman to stay home, to manage the home, is not something that is easy for most women. Because most women would want to be out there, make their own money, contribute to the house or to the home any way possible. Would you say that getting her to play that wife role of being the mother of the children was a problem?
That's a question she has to answer, but this is what I know. Marriage isn't how much money is in the house. It helps if there is. Marriage isn't whether you're home or you're on the road. It's when the two of you have a common goal and you're working towards. If the two become one enough, you're driving at the same thing. Now, the interesting thing with people working for a common goal is that it doesn't matter what role one plays, it's still driving the same place. We're on set now. Now, everybody on TV just sees you and I.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is we're doing less of the work. The team there is doing more work than we're doing. Camera, sound, somebody's mixing, Brian is taking pictures. Now, nobody sees them. They only see those of us on set. It's easy to say that we're doing all of the work, when the truth is they're doing more than we're doing. When 2 people decide to get married, there should be a reason, there should be a goal they're driving towards. Without it, everybody's doing what they want. Hence the question, this one wants to go out to get what they want. If we're driving, especially when it comes to a pastor, if we're driving a common goal, yes, you could have something doing, or you could not. As long as it's an agreement the home has, you can drive it. If going out to do something is part of the common goal of the 2 of you, it makes marriage work. And this is not only for pastors, this is just marriage 101. When you come together, you're driving at a common goal. Otherwise, eventually, you're going to be driving apart. Because you would hear, I don't know about Ghana too much, but these days you hear things that are very interesting. The woman says, I want my own money. The man says, I'm doing this. So eventually, even the career can get in the way of marriage if the 2 of them are not doing the same thing together. They don't have to be doing the same job, but they have to have a common goal at home. This is what we're doing. This is what it's our vision. The tree will say, this is what we want to do. And as long as that is what we have agreed to do, it becomes easy, because it doesn't matter if the woman goes to get a job or she has her own side business and she's doing it. It doesn't matter if the man is doing something different. As long as what they are driving towards is the same, it doesn't matter where they are, they'll come to the same point. But if they're driving towards different agendas, it doesn't matter where they start from together, they're going to end up in 2 different places.
did you give her the blueprint? Because in marriage, you can say, okay, within the next 5 years, this is the roadmap. This is where we want to be in 5 years.
It doesn't matter how I put it. It didn't work. So, blueprint or not, maybe I thought I did. Did she understand? I don't know. So, the issue is this. Before you get married, people, I was asked a question recently that, now that you're single, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. All I know is that the next time I do this, if I do, I don't want to fail at it. So, what you're calling a blueprint may be a discussion for dating before marriage. You don't have that discussion in marriage. You're already there. What if she doesn't agree?
How long did you date?
Not long enough.
Could that be a reason or a factor to the divorce?
I don't know, possibly. I don't think so, but people's orientations are different. Somebody requires a whole doctorate degree in dating before they get married. Some don't. So, I don't know if the short time was a cause or it's not, but I'm not sure of that.
Is it difficult to live with you? As funny as it may sound, it's quite difficult to live with certain people. They have specification of their lives. I have friends who would ask you to wear socks before you enter their living area.
Oh, that's just a clean freak, a little OCD.
A little OCD.
That doesn't kill, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
But sometimes another person go like, aha, maybe I have 50 times. I just say me wash your socks. Can't I just take off my shoes?
I don't think I don't think that reflects difficulty in living with a person. That's just how the person is comfortable.
I'm just giving an example.
With me, I'm a very difficult may not be the word. I like things done a certain way. I'm predictable if you take time to look at how I like things done. I may be difficult if you don't take the time to look at how predictable I am. So, most people don't take the time to find out who their partner is.
Yes.
They expect people to accommodate. The word we use so much, so carelessly is compromise. Let me use an example that is besides me. If I was born and bred in somewhere in a village in Jokwa, all my orientations are from that place.
Yeah.
And then I get married to somebody born and bred in Manhattan. Exactly. So what you will call compromise will be an impossible challenge. If you put two people from two worlds together, we'll play with the word compromise, but that's a very tall order.
It would just be like when you're done eating, she's expecting you to clean your plate, and you're like, well, no, we're all right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You grow up in a Ghanaian home. A man is a man only because he exerts his authority. And you go to a Western world, and their language of marriage is very different. They share responsibilities, they share bills at home and all of that. They don't find anything wrong with that. But because the cultures differ, two people from two very separate walks of life, having to do it, it's not an issue of just compromise. It's an issue of agreeing this is what we want, this is what we're committed to doing, this is the goal we've set for our family. Now, as long as that is in place, it doesn't matter what the challenges are, it's easy to resolve. But when we haven't put anything in perspective, we run wild and then we get to where we are.
So are you saying there wasn't enough commitment?
I don't know if that's the right word.
Through it all, when there is divorce, it's the children who suffer most of the time. How have you been able to shield the children from not seeing, or what's the right word? Shielding the children from not knowing what is going on, the shocking realities?
Well, the word is shield. I've done the very best you can, but what that comes to is that you begin to basically spoil them to get them to forget something. So if you are not careful enough, you cause more problems. Whether we like it or not, the absence of a parent affects children. In my case, I do my best to shield them away from the harsh realities of it. They are privileged to get all they want, but it still will never be enough.
Are there times they ask for mommy?
Every now and then. Every now and then they do.
And how well do you try to give them that peace? Because when children begin to ask such questions and they don't get it, sometimes if you're not careful, their quest of asking could get them rebellious.
Fortunately for me, I have two very young adults who tend to want an explanation for things, and when you give them a good one, they run with it. Not to say that I can grasp fully everything they internalize, but at least they work well with asking what they want to ask, and I've taught them not to be timid, so they speak their mind very loudly. And as long as they get clarity, they're good.
How were you able to rise from that dip?
Do you ever rise from it?
You tell me.
You don't. You just live with it. Getting over things is a nice word to say I've learned to live with it or learned to live past it. But a scar doesn't go away. You can put makeup on a scar. You can tattoo a scar. But whether you like it or not, under the skin, the scar still exists. So you don't go past it. You learn to live with it.
So for a leader of a flock, how do you explain this to your members?
I don't. I don't explain to my members. Rather, I use my situation to teach it better. That you're privileged to have someone who's gone through something, knows the mistakes. Now, experience isn't always the best teacher because experience leaves scars. If people will be smart enough to learn from other people's mistakes, they will avoid the scars they have to get on their own skin. So the saying that experience is the best teacher, experience is the best teacher for those who want scars. But you can learn from other people's, and if I have any opportunity to talk to my congregation about how to do it well, I do that. And I don't shy from using my personal experience to tell them, this is where you go wrong. This is where you do that. An example was an incident where, and most people will disagree with me on this one, somebody comes to me and says that the husband has put a tracker in her car and that she got pissed off. She used to go to a different church before coming to ours and took the man to the pastor. And the pastor told the man to take it out of the car. I said to her, if you came to me with a case, I would have said differently. And it may sound like I'm being biased towards men, but I would have said it very differently. She says, how do you mean? I said, first of all, you told your husband that you don't respect him by taking him to another man who's your pastor. And you are asking the man to tell your husband how to run your home. Now, pastors are respected and we bless God for that. But you need to get your husband to want to also come to church. Now, my question to her was, I'm not saying that he did the right thing. I'm saying, what do you have to hide? And then again, let's just say you want him to take it out of the car. What I would have told you to do is leave your phones at home and drive out and stay late. And come back and have him just be pissed off, and then you say to him, honey, but you know where I am. I left my phones, why didn't you just come get me? By the time you've done that...
you have a trucker in the car.
Exactly. By the time you've done that once, twice, or thrice, he'll take it off. Because then he knows you're doing it on purpose. My phone's at home. When he calls, the phone is ringing at home. The car is somewhere. You can track it. That's what you want, right?
You've solved the issue.
So come get it. Without involving another man to come tell your man how to run his home. So it's an issue of how you always deal with things. So I will always use my experience to tell somebody this is where I went wrong. I hope you don't have to get the same scars I got.
I respect you for that. Thank you very much, Rev. But we have to continue this interview because I really want to know how the church came to Ghana and how the church is doing. So we'll continue this interview next week. I'm sure most of you are super glued to your sets because you want to know how this whole thing ended and how he's still looking this gracious doing the work of God. As for the broken heart, he doesn't want to talk about it, but whether he likes it or not, come back next week, he will talk about it. Always to remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. We'll see you next week.